And in addition to guitars, I also work on mandolins a little bit. And this is one that's kind of fun for me. Well, all mandolins are fun, but this one's especially fun because it's a Krishot mandolin. And this one's a 1997. And I have, my personal mandolin is a 2002 Krishot. So it's always fun getting one of these in. They're rare. They're made in the Czech Republic. They're not real common over here. Very, very good mandolins, in my opinion. The workmanship is fabulous on this one. Mine is really, really good. It's held up really good over all these years. This one's a 97, and man, the workmanship is great. There's no separation going on here. Everything looks solid. This one has a really nice neck on it. Nice round, plump, chunky neck on it. Very nice. Okay, so the owner wanted to know what I recommend. He was coming by. He was passing through here, so he wanted to stop by, see what I had to say about the mandolin, what I might recommend for playability. So I reviewed it, and starting up here, I see that the nut spacing is not quite perfect. Mine was perfect, but in 5 years, Edward Krishot F5, maybe that's how you pronounce it, made 100 mandolins. So he got better at it. And so what I found out here at the nut is that the spacing is not even between the strings. So here's the G, and then there's that much extra between the D and the A, and that much extra between the A and the E. And if I was to make a new nut and space the strings out more evenly, the fingerboard would feel a little roomier. The G and the D wouldn't feel quite so cramped. And it's not bad now, but the next step I'm going to do, it has the fat frets on it, the banjo wire. And I personally don't like that because I have fat fingers. And my experience is that people with fat fingers on mandolin will play better with a thinner wire. You can get your fingers in between the frets better. And also the fat wire, as it wears, gets a flat crown on it, and it makes for a non-clean note, and the intonation is just not good. With a nice thin crown fret, you get good intonations, you get a sharp, clean note, and I just like it better. And so, for instance, this fret wire is 84,000ths of an inch wide, so it's banjo fret wire. Now, a lot of guys, they like the wide wire. I don't. My experience is that I will play better on thin wire, and my experience is also that the heavier, fatter wire will give a tubbier tone to the mandolin. My elk horn, for instance, came with fat wire, and it was tubby. And my wife said, I don't like it, it's a dog. I said, let me refret it first, So I refret it with the gold Evo wire, which is about 57, I have to go check. It's about 50,000ths of an inch wide and 47,000 inches tall. And it clears it up right away, and it just makes the fretting so much. So the advantage, in the back in the old days, the thin wire would wear faster, so you had to replace it more often. But now we have stainless steel, and we have Evo thin wire, and you'll probably never have to replace either one of those. On my Krishot, it had fat frets, and I wanted the tall, thin frets on it. And so what I did was I took the banjo wire, and I ran it over my belt sander, and I made it narrower. So I took it from 84 to about 55,000ths of an inch. And then I refretted it that way. And that was back in 2004, and the frets look like brand new today. I don't fret hard, and having a nice tall wire lets you use less pressure and get a clean note. So my advice was to refret, and the owner is like me. He's short, he's got fat fingers, and so my advice was to refret it. Plus these frets are worn, so refret it with the gold Evo wire. And so that's what I'm going to do. The fingerboard itself looks great. There's no humps, dips, really nice flat fingerboard. So not going to be any drama there, except for refretting it. The third thing that I saw was that the bridge is leaning forward. And that happens over time on mandolins if you don't habitually pull them back here. Now what I like to do is fit the bridge to the top so that it's leaning backwards about a 3 to 5 degree angle back this way. That'll counteract the strings, and it's a violin trick. I've seen it on some banjos too. Set the bridge back at an angle. So I will refit this bridge a little bit and lean it backwards a little bit. I'll take care of that. That tends to produce a little bit of a sharper, brighter, snappier tone too. So I look for the, same thing I do in guitar. I look for the spacing at the nut, the height of the nut. The height of the nut is really good on this one. There's no problem going on there. Just a little high, baby. Now, that might be because of the fret wear too. But I look for the spacing, the height of the nut. I look for the neck relief. I look for the overall action. I look at the condition of the frets. I look at the saddle of the bridge. When he came in, the E strings were all shifted over. So I noticed right away that the spacing was way off here, and they were just simply in the wrong grooves. That's something you just have to watch for. So I look for the bridge, what's it look like on a mandolin. Look at the tailpiece. I'll talk about the tailpiece a little bit more later, but you've got to really watch when you have these solid tailpieces. You've got to really watch the angle of these. And this one is good because it goes down below the strings, so the string tension is going to want to lift it up, and that counteracts the strings. There's other tailpieces that are solid. The strings come off the top of it. If those get above the angle of the string is going to pull down on it, and that contributes to this force that wants to pull the mandolin in. And my elk horn developed a crack in the top, down the top seam from an improperly adjusted solid mandolin bridge that was actually putting down pressure on it. And the seam would be open when it was strung, and when I unstrung it, the seam would close, and that was mysterious because I thought it should be the opposite on the mandolin top. And my friend Mario Poo said the top's trying to implode. So when I studied it, I got an orange, and I cut the little slit in the orange, and when I squeezed the ends in, the crack opened up. So I saw what was happening. It was forcing the front edge in. So I fixed that problem, put a cleat under there. I did a pretty interesting repair job using a carbon fiber strut, stuff like that. It's been great for the past 4 years now. And I got rid of that tailpiece because I don't like the design of it. I'm not going to mention the name or the brand or anything, but watch them. This one, on the other hand, the strings are actually pulling it up, so it's got the reverse, and so that's a safe tailpiece. I'm not a big fan of these heavy cast tailpieces now that I've had some experience with them. I put a standard old Stu Mac vintage style tailpiece on all my mandolins now. I actually want a little bit of flex in it, so. But that's me. I'm not a mandolin builder, so I'm going to work on this, and I'll record it again when I get done, and we'll see what you think. But it's a good sound mandolin, and I'm going to play a little bit on it now, and then I'll play again after I do the work to it. See, it's not fretting real clean for me with the amount of pressure that I'm used to putting in. So the action is just a teeny little bit high. So, I'm not getting good tone out of it, and it is sounding flubby to me. Definitely is just a little bit on the hard to play side. So I'm pretty confident that after I get done with it, it's going to play a whole lot better. So, but I wanted to do before, and I wanted to show you, give you an evaluation a mandolin, what I look for in the mandolin. Well, we're back with the Krishot mandolin that I did the evaluation on and a brief AB of. I've made a new nut for it and fixed a lot of the spacing issues that I saw on it. And then this nut is elk antler. I had a nice little piece of elk antler that I thought would look really cool on it. And you can see it's got a little bit of the, you can see the antler part on the front half of it. And then it turns to hard stuff where the strings are polished up beautifully. Looks cool, you know. And I don't like a really bright mandolin nut. Like I don't generally like abalone or mother of pearl abalone. You know, it's okay. It's pretty and everything, but I like a softer sounding one that sounds more like my fingers. So the open strings have a more consistent sound. So anyway, I did a elk antler nut on this one. I got the string spacing even, so it's 60 thousandths of an inch in between and 190 in between each pair, as accurately as I could cut it. And I came up pretty close, but I was within 3 or 4 thousandths of an inch at the worst. Oh, I did a complete refret with Evo fret wire to get rid of the fat, worn out frets. The frets are all glued in with super glue, and I showed you the trick in one of the other videos of using the micro tip, you know, to feed glue directly into the slot. I kicked the bridge back a little bit. It was leaning forward really bad, and so I refit it to the top, so now it leans backward just a couple of degrees. It's not much, you know, but it basically looks like it's standing up straight right now. But it's got a little bit of a tilt back to it. That tends to brighten it up and snap it up just a little. So, and the customer's main complaint was that it didn't play quite as good as it could play, and I think it plays as good as any mandolin I've ever played right now. It's pretty responsive, you know. At the end of the video, I have a series of things I was just messing around with the mandolin, warming up, that kind of thing. I'll throw those on there, and you can see what it was like coming onto the mandolin cold, and you know how quickly I could adapt to it, which I couldn't do before when I had the fat frets. I had you know, I was going like, I didn't get that note clean, you know. And with the thinner frets, it's just so much easier for me, especially up the neck here, you know. That's about as high as I go on the mandolin, you know. That's just all I can do. But it's just so much cleaner now. Feels better. I can feel the frets, you know. But with the fat frets, I can't feel the frets. And on a mandolin, for me at least, it's hard to react. On the guitar, you've got a lot more room in there. You know, if you miss it, you're still going to get that much room to work with. And on a mandolin, it's very precise, and so it's a little hard for me to react on a mandolin as opposed to practicing the same lick and having to look down to make sure your fingers are there. Mandolins is a little bit harder for me to not look and get it by feel. So the thin frets help me with that because I can feel where I am on the fret right there. See? I can feel that. I can't feel the fat fret. So, gosh, I think this is a great mandolin. It's a 1997 Krishot F5. And my personal mandolin is a 2002. And I don't know what the top is on this. You know, mine's got a sticker on it that tells me what it is. I don't know if this is red spruce or Sitka or, you know, what it is. Sounds good though. It's got a great neck on it, real nice, comfortable neck. It did have a pretty hard radius on it, more than 6 inches. You know, the 6-inch call is the sharpest call I have, and I couldn't radius the fret wire. So I did a separate video with a trick that I used that I developed while I was doing this. I flattened that radius out with a sanding block to about 6 inches so that I could use my press a little bit easier, because I thought 6 inches is certainly plenty of radius for a mandolin. I'm not real big on really super radius things, because I feel like sometimes I have to reach farther down for this string and farther over for this string, as opposed to a flat fingerboard. Man, that E string is boom right there. But I honestly would not notice that on this mandolin. I could tell you, oh, it's radius, but I couldn't tell you that it's that sharp of a radius. It plays really nice. I didn't have any problem. I thought that part, that's effortless for me. So, that's a great mandolin. I really like Krishot mandolins. 1997, and this thing, the binding is all tight. There's no gaps in the binding. The finish is great. And, I've got another mandolin over there, and I see some binding separation happening. I cracked the top on it. I just see things happening. This has got a crack here with the impact. You can see the impact point on it. It's not a giantest crack, and it's glued up really nicely. So I'm really impressed with Krishot mandolins. If you ever get a chance to try one or even get one, you should jump at it. I feel like collecting Krishot mandolins. I've already asked for dibs on this one if he ever sells it. I don't need another one, but this one's pretty nice. So.